Good evening and welcome here to RPM. This is the Championship Division and this is the Wednesday night. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Inorganic. How are you, Mr. Inorganic?
Not too bad, not too bad. And yourself? Nice, good holiday?
Yeah, good holiday. Further behind in the championship, which usually I try and do on race days, but this week I managed to put my feet up, get some sun, and just fall behind. Not through lack of skill for once, which is nice. There's a self-deprecating Jones straight back into action.
Yeah, it was a cracker of a race yesterday, so hopefully a bit more of the same today.
Well, I'll be looking for you with all your expertise. I was talking to the man I'm on board with here, Kieran, earlier, and saying I have absolutely no idea of a good time around here, so I'll be relying on you very, very heavily tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I think race trim, I think my fastest was 1:12 in the race, which doesn't particularly seem quick time-wise, because I think you can be pushing maybe the 110s. Soft tyres, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think that's what Kieran was expecting his pace to certainly be around. We'll see how that plays out. I did say to Kieran actually, and I do genuinely believe this tonight, because I did see the podium from last night. There was a few different names in there, and I fancy there being a few different names tonight. I think Kieran's going to get a podium tonight. That's my prediction early on. Just straight in there.
That's a big shout. I think I kind of fancy your teammate Lar. I think, and then you've got Smith. He's going to be up there. Do you know what? I think Lost Glider as well. You know, I think Lost Glider might have a pretty good one.
Yeah, there's some seriously quick drivers in there tonight. You see Lau already top of the timetable there, ahead of the two Williams. It shows that the expertise are paying off. Look who's got on top of the timesheets there. I did want to mention something quickly. Just this week in the RPM community, we've received some pretty sad news that unfortunately one of our members, Schnitzy, has sadly passed away this week. We were fortunate enough in RPM community to be blessed with his wonderful and warm personality. Our thoughts remain with his family and his friends this week, and he will be greatly missed, but his spirit will always be with us here. I'm deeply saddened by that, and as I said, all our thoughts are with his family and friends. Just watching here now, actually, Bronco in the other Ferrari. You'll have to tell me here, Inorganic, is Bronco new to the division?
Yes, it was his first race last week at Spa. He was one that DNF'd, that we weren't quite sure why he DNF'd very early on, but I think hit the wall on turn one and had quite a bit of damage. So I think he'll be looking to probably show a bit more this week.
Yeah, that does remind me massively actually, because I remember we were theorising as to what had actually happened in that situation. Another man who's just lacking a bit of form that I'm on board with at the moment in qualifying the last 2 weeks. Smith down in 13th at the moment, only the first run, and as you can see on the leaderboard on the left, it is incredibly tight. But he really needs to have a good quali here, because there's a few teams trying to catch the Mercedes now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, by looking at it, Ferrari are looking. It's been some good times. Las Glada, one I called, but yeah, it's only Smith this week, isn't it? So points kind of dropped a bit yesterday as well. But you can't rule Smith out. He just keeps things tidy. Doesn't crash out. And I think that's probably the way to go. I mean, I won't say that about Stubby this week. As last week when I said about how clean Stubby keeps everything. And as soon as I said that, he crashed into the walls.
Yeah, he's a man who definitely needs a break. He definitely does not need a Mr. Inorganic prediction against his name tonight. Just catching up the chat here. We got Colin in chat saying, evening, good luck, Williams. Inorganic, are you on double pay this week by any chance? Or have you not had any forms from Luke?
Yeah, I have yet to receive a pay slip. I've had a couple of P45 slips, but not a pay slip yet.
Yeah, and for anyone watching who would like to sponsor the league, we're struggling to eat in the commentary box, so if you would like to send us some money, it would be greatly appreciated. Jason Clement saying, no Red Bull tonight, all my hard work last night as well. Well, it's just the way it goes. It could be worse. You could have Backer in your team. So that's basically a DNF waiting to happen. I know you're going to watch it back, Backer, and I'm just getting my joke out early doors. I've got full faith in you winning tonight.
I'm glad you have, I haven't.
Oh, so much shade from this commentary pairing.
Well, until I get paid.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's in charge. So, if there's any needle, that's what it's over, Backer. Maslow's hierarchy. Oh, this entity did seem to be doing something strange there, but apparently not. That must be just the game. Just a 9-5 for him into second place. Yeah, Backer, if you are watching this back, Maslow's hierarchy of needs and everything. We need shelter, we need food, and unfortunately, in the capitalist society of the Western world, we need money for that, and we're not getting paid enough. Well, we're not getting paid it at all.
In line with inflation.
Yeah, but apparently Luke demands £1 million every week. You can't write it, can you? We've also got James, also known as Spritzy in chat, saying, good evening, Mr. Inorganic and Mrs. Jones. Definitely not a typo. Backer for the win. Wow, that makes somebody think it.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to get the better RPM machines working on the odds there. Even though you would suggest it could be about 13-1 with the cars on track, I think we'll give you a good 250-1 on that. Ivor saying Ferrari for the podium start. We've got a lot of different predictions going on. Ivor, you're looking good on that one with Glader currently top of the timesheets. Yeah, and then a very nice comment from Bakadar saying racing for Schnitzy. Absolutely, RPM is racing for Schnitzy this week. As Lau, I thought I was about to say, he crosses the line. He's crossing the line for the pit lane. I mean, a week away hasn't at all affected my ability to miss all action and just not know where to be on track at any point.
It's a short track here, so it is quite hard to kind of keep up. A late safety car yesterday for us really spiced the last few laps up, so expecting a couple of safety cars, I'd say. But yeah, it's there's only a real couple of decent overtaking spots, and that's obviously the long straight, turn 1, and the DRS activates really early now. Used to be actually on the straight, but now it's actually on the last bend on the curved.
Yeah, and it is. I think it's it's a very classic racing track. This not much runoff area, very narrow at times, and yeah, I think like you said, that does lean into the idea that we could get some safety cars here. I'm currently on board the Giraffe, who at the moment, this is very unusual for him to be that low down. He's been mighty in qualifying so far this season, but needs to find the best part of half a second here to put himself into a provisional pole. 6 minutes left of the session. And as he crosses the line, he does improve, but it's not enough. He only goes up 1 position, improves by 2 tenths though, but maybe track evolution will help him.
Yeah, I think I was 8th on the grid. Don't get me started on the yellow flags. And I finished just 4th. So...
Well, I've heard what you've said loud and clear in organic. I've just got a question for you, just completely irrelevant to whatever you've just said. What's your thoughts on yellow flags? Oh, it's good to be back.
If you, do we have that buzzer that, you know, every time you say something, you just get a beep? There'll be a lot of beeps.
We'll need an editor for after the streams. The streams are uncensored, live, unedited. Kind of like the South Park movie. And Smith comes towards the end of his lap. And he is up in 3rd now, so he's finding his pace. And when I say end of his lap, that's the end of his in-lap. But Entity is a man on a mission here. Up 1 tenth, he'll be keen to get one over on Giraffe. And he's now 3 tenths up. For the man that hates Brighton and Hove Albion, this could be an absolute huge lap.
I was going to say, I'm surprised the Williams aren't, because they usually help each other out, don't they? Usually try and give each other a decent tow, but maybe this isn't the kind of track that kind of works, and you only really get that on the start-finish straight. But he's gone round quickest.
Yeah, and by 2 tenths, well, 2.5 tenths by that, and Lau now coming across. Yeah, I think it just does not work with this track. I keep catching people going into the pits, for God's sake. We need a new broadcaster. It's like the guy who switches to Stroll at Monaco when there's overtakes going on. Yeah, I think there's just not many areas you can use it, or I think the other issue is if you're the one towing, where do you get out the way is the other problem. But certainly Entity's finding some pace, looking to get that extra point for pole position. The only other car on track that Entity has just overtook is Huss, who's on a very slow outlap. Now, anyone who's in the comments, you know, I'm going to beat you to the punch, and you're saying that looks like a Jones hot lap. Well, it absolutely does, but he's actually up at 64 miles an hour at the moment, so I can tell you for free he's going way quicker than I am.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he was going so slow. He already had his full DRS, so his ERS, so I'm not quite sure. Colin was worried about giving Entity a bit of a tow.
Well, Colin's saying Huss is being very smart there. Now, maybe I'm not smart enough to figure out why he's being so smart, so Colin, if you'd like to elaborate.
That's what we're really clever, really.
So these beautiful people in chat can actually know what the hell's going on, because me and him, I got it, don't have a clue. This is what you get when you got first division drivers on commentary. I'm only joking. Inorganic's going very well in the first division this season. So he actually does know what he's doing. It's more the fact that I'm confused almost through the whole of the day. And Colin does elaborate with
it's a trade secret.
A very yeah, it's a trade. He elaborates because it's a trade secret, giving nothing away. As always, thank you, Mr. Colin.
That's why we're first division. We don't get down in on these trade secrets.
I don't have secrets, let alone trade. So, yeah,
I mean,
I'm really struggling.
It was only car on track as well, really, apart from Entity. So he had a clear track. So I still don't know why, but if it's a trade secret and he's cut third, so it must have worked.
I'd keep it a secret if I were him. Third, they're going very well, and it's so close in behind. I'm on board with Lost Glader at the moment, who will be going for the pole position at the moment. With Entity sat in the pit lane. He's on an outlap though now. Entity might just get round in time, but it's so close. We've got, what's that, from 4th all the way down to 10th, all on a 109.6. Unbelievable stuff. As Stubby says, bye Williams at the top of the pile, and he puts himself in first. Glader does improve, but it's not quite enough. He's still on a 109.3, but he's sitting pretty for a podium place at the moment. Leaky now up into 4th. He's just done his lap, so Huss has been demoted, so if he's got any more trade secrets, he'll be needing them soon. Go back to Smith in 6th place, see what he can do. And obviously Entity and Lau are the ones to watch here, because they are on their outlaps now, and if they get round in time, we could see that pole change hands as Huss now retires. Colin, any secrets with that one? God, I'm being so sassy already tonight. It's good to be back.
I mean, if that's the trick of going fast, is to go really slow, then I'm a speed like lightning, me fast round.
I'm probably trying to go too fast, which means I'm too slow. I don't know how anything works anymore, I've got to be honest with you. But Smith was a 10th up. He could catapult himself up into at least 7th or 6th here. But he doesn't improve, he loses it into P3. Entity saying he's allergic to pole. Yeah, apparently so. Not quite getting there at the moment. Rodo's down on this lap. We'll switch to Lau, who I said would be last one crossing line. And he's sat in behind his teammate, giving him a tow, and that did work because he gained a 10th through that sector. But it looks like he just made a little bit of a mistake, and clearly Bakker's not on a lap, so Bakker's going to be resigned to a low starting position. What can Lau do coming around the final corner now? Opens up the DRS and crosses the line with a 106. So another driver just losing it all in that third sector. And as you can see there, so close to the lap times there. I think anything could be going in the race, because people might be having a little bit of different race setups or other things on here, and the times are so close.
And we don't know what the weather's going to be, so we don't know if, because we always know Holland is always good, Netherlands is always good for a bit of rain. We didn't have any yesterday, so if there's any predicted in the race, I wonder if there are some different setup strategies coming in.
Yeah, absolutely something to watch out for. And as you can see there, every single driver, the whole field separated by a second. But that midfield pack, if you were finding a little bit of time, you could have been way higher up. It's so close. I've seen Lau and NXX in the Alfa Romeo just separated by 0.02 of a second. Kieran saying last two ? Well, could be first. Could also be last to last. Don't count it out. I only say that to Kieran because he used to be my commentary partner and I know he could take it. I still think Kieran could get a podium here. Anything could happen. Bakker with the headline news, Aston disaster, and it absolutely was there. It wasn't great qualifying, especially for Lau, I'd say, who's been up there consistently for the last, well, certainly 3 races where we've been watching them together. He'll be disappointed with that one down in 11th at the moment.
I have got the weather up on the telemetry and it's dry. No chance of rain at all.
So we'll have to see what tyres they choose for the race here. We've got our first prediction in chat. We've got Booty saying Entity first, Glader second, and Stubby third. That's the top three. It's looking pretty good for it at the moment. I still think Kieran's going to win this race. Last to first. I'm backing him. Now, if there's any predictions in chat for a slightly different one this week, because me and Inorganic love rubbing salt into wounds, at what lap do you reckon Backer will get to? You must watch these back and go, I hate these guys.
Do you know what? I'm going to actually probably go lap 4.
Lap 4? You think an early DNF? At his home Grand Prix, it'd be a tough one to take. I think he's going to make it to lap 31. Watch Backer go and win this race now.
Well, it looks like he's on the same strategy I was on, with starting on the hards. A couple of disqualifications there.
And we've also got Spritzy in chat saying lap 4, so you'll be splitting the pot with him if it is lap 4. Ivor saying lap 23. So currently we have yourself and myself not predicting a race finish, Spritzy in chat not predicting a race finish, Ivor not predicting a race finish, Booty saying don't do it, don't put him in that position. He's been put in the position, and we've got 100% of viewers saying he's not going to finish the race. Now I'm going to try and be nice here. I think Backer's going to show everyone. He'll get himself pumped up for this. He's been written off, and I think he'll be up for it. He's on the hard tyres at the moment, so he's split the strategy with his teammate. Everyone is pretty much on mediums apart from Huss, Kieran, Backer, and the leader Stubby. So Stubby, it's going to be very, very interesting off the start here, and I can see actually Entity's a little bit further back, so maybe it's been doing a bit more tyre warming, looking to get a jump on him. And obviously, actually, one thing we forgot about is how good Bronco's qualifying was up in third, and the Ferrari's looking very, very good for this so far tonight, which Ivor in chat will be very, very pleased to hear. And actually, Alpines, we've got a few, it's like Noah's Ark a little bit there.
Well, I was kind of wondering why, obviously they haven't gone round on the track, which has obviously given the disqualification. But Lost Glader on hards, surely you'd want to go around on a formation lap to get some heat up in them.
Yeah, absolutely. Not ideal, that disqualification. And okay, let's go. And everyone off to a start there. Entity not quite getting that run on the mediums that he was hoping for, and he'll have to stay patient there. It looks like a few swapped positions. Smith getting past Huss, and now Rodo past Glader, as Kieran putting himself past Backer at the moment, and past Ricker. So Kieran having a great start on those hard tyres. As we see in the background, we got a right old battle going on here for 6th place. Lost Glader, Leaky, Smith and Huss, and you can see just how close together these guys are at the moment, and some people running offline. I don't know where to look at the moment. There's so much going on. I'm guessing that's what you were chuckling at.
Yeah, it just overtakes. Everyone just really going straight at it from the start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Backer not get the best of starts. Take a while for the mods to warm up, but I still think that's probably the best strategy.
Yeah, I think the hards, I mean, I've said, I sound like a broken record because I swear I've said it like 5 times in the last 3 weeks. The hards are a very good race tyre on this game. Stubby, unsurprisingly, sets the fastest lap there, being the first lap of the race. Broncos actually still close behind Entity, and much closer behind Entity than Entity is to Stubby at the moment. Unfortunately, interval seems to be a bit messed up there on my screen.
Kieran was just trying to give back a probably a little helping hand there to maybe crash out on lap 2. A little bit of a touch.
Well, I think a lot of people in chat will be happy that he didn't, because Bakker is scheduled for the first predictions in 2 laps' time. In a minute, he seems composed enough, but not the inroads the Aston Martins were hoping to make so far. Lau still behind Huss there, and Huss on those hard tyres, just struggling to get the heat in, and really only Stubby has got them working so far, because I did see Glader was in a bit of a battle earlier on, but we know how quick Glader can be, especially in a race circumstance. And I'm hoping, I've got a bit of a problem with my intervals at the moment, the timings are all not great. And Spritzy's now saying change of plan on his prediction. He thinks Bakker's going to get a podium.
I think he's got somewhere to go.
He's got a lot of work to do, but I mean, it's not a great deal between the front cars and the cars towards the rear as the intervals finally updating properly. Entity though outside the DRS range of Stubby, and he's got Bronco still right on his tail. Giraffe a little bit further back behind this battle, and Entity under massive pressure from the Italian car here, but he's still holding him off. Yeah, I think you've got to stay patient here, because one mistake here, if someone spins, look how close everyone is, it could end up wiping out half the field. So
first corner. Yeah, first corner in the hairpin. It's not the kind of track that you get many time penalties. But yeah, couple of corners, if you get it wrong, there's not much of a run off. And yeah, you can collect a few other drivers as you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lau just going on the outside of Husk. He's got it. Oh, he's had to go a bit wide. Oh, and he's touched Bakker. Yeah,
and Bakker in the wall there. Spritzy, I'm assuming I'll see another prediction coming in fairly soon from you. And there goes Bakker's wing, getting caught up in a incident, but he's been massively helped. Bakker still in the race. I think what he was thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, he was thinking, we're not doing great as Aston Martins, we're nowhere near the front of the pack. If I make a safety car come out, and Aston Martin will technically be leading the race. Unless it's the Mercedes tonight, which would be very disappointing for all of that outside the box thinking I've just done.
Well, I'm just thinking it's lap 4, first corner. Granted, it wasn't Bakker's fault. Lau just kind of got it wide on the corner and come back on track, and then tried to go pretty much on the inside, and yeah, hit his teammate, who will have to come in now for the front wing. But luckily enough, it has brought the safety car out, so Bakker will make it past lap 4.
Yep, that's absolutely true. And well, see, Spritzy saying, I want my money back. You'll have to speak to Luke, but I can tell you what Luke would say. He loves his money, and he'll say no refunds. And we've also got Colin saying full safety car because of a wing. Well, you see, the thing is, the wings aren't very developed. If you're an Aston Martin driver, you have to be extremely talented, Colin. I'm not saying this because I'm an Aston Martin driver. It's just so much more difficult to drive that. You will say, okay, it's on equal performance. Trust me, the front wings on the Aston Martins are a nightmare, and they're very sharp when left on the track. That's why we got the safety car. You know, I don't know if you want to talk up my talent at all here in Organic. I've left you a nice platform. I think that's me at the front, actually, in front of Stubby here.
Yeah, if it's
going very slowly. Yeah, going very. Colin's saying he'll try it tomorrow night. Well, you might need to get in the Aston Martin. I think it might just be an Aston Martin thing. Oh, and Stubby not very happy with my driving, getting really side on with the Aston Martin.
There is an S button, I think, somewhere on the steering wheel that Aston Martins have, and you press that and it does cause the car to spin uncontrollably. But I think Aston Martin actually cover that button up, so you're not quite sure what button it is. It's kind of like Russian roulette kind of thing.
I find that problem every week because I've got another one that says AR on it for Alfa Romeo. Because I tend to hit your Alfa Romeo quite frequently, and I'm trying to press the spin button every week, and unfortunately, that's why I don't think I should be taken to the steward's office. It was genuinely unintentional. I was just trying to spin.
I think everyone's got that Alfa Romeo button on their car at the moment. I seem to be tracking everyone. But while we were talking, I noticed one thing. Smith went into the pits and got rid of his mediums to go on to hards.
Yeah, it's a great
I
spot.
made my hards last 20 laps, and they were pretty much about to let go. I'm not the best tyre management, but 30 laps, that's a long way to go unless he's thinking of another safety car and possibly softs, but I think that's a bit of an early call.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know how that's going to play out unless he thinks the mediums were just going off much quicker than expected. Because we've not seen anyone else make that call other than obviously Ricker and Backer have been into the pits for obviously getting caught up in situations. Well, I guess I have to do the announcement now. Anyone who had lap 4, you're out. I think next up on the agenda is Ivor at lap 23. Backer must watch this back and go, for God's sake, what have I done to deserve this? We'll have to start picking on someone else at some point.
He tried at lap 4, he tried, but the safety car has helped him.
Jason Clement saying paper wings on the Aston Martin.
I think it's the wall. I don't think it's the paper wings, I think it's the walls that they hit.
I think there's a magnet in the Aston Martins. I quite like the walls. I just want to see the Rolex advertised a bit closer up. But the question is, when's Stubby going to go? He's waiting a little bit. I don't think the safety car's still not in the pit lane. And when's he going to run? He's going not yet. I thought he'd just gone. He's left it really, really late, and he's going to be under pressure from Entity straight down into the first corner. And not the most convincing start, but he just about covers it off, probably using a bit of ERS, and he absolutely has had to. But Bronco just will not leave Entity alone. He's filling up his rear view mirror tonight. And I think every time Entity has a look at Stubby, he's got to worry about the cars behind him, and he's not able to actually push on and get an overtake done, which he'll be desperate to do at the moment, because Stubby leading this race on the hard tyres, you'd have to say it's working perfectly for him. And I've got to say for myself, I'd be glad to see Stubby win, because he's been so unlucky so many times this season. If he can keep it on the road, it'd be a well-deserved victory, but a long, long way to go yet.
Yeah, we all know what happened last week with my singing of praises of Stubby. So, Stubby, I'm not going to sing your praises this week, mate. There you go. I'm not going to. Yeah, person this week.
I've done it this week, so if it goes wrong, come have a go at me in my direct messages. I'll apologise profusely. As we see some action going on in midfield here, NXX from First Division as reserve, looking to send it up the inside. Leaky has to back out of that one a little bit, and the Alfa Romeo puts himself up into 6th now, and he'll try and chase after the other Alpine of Rodo there. We got ha 95. I don't know if I should actually do a laugh for that one. You can vote in chat if you want me to try and repronounce the name. He says he raced yesterday. Mediums get absolutely ridiculously worn all over. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the percentages, but I think he's saying the tyre drop-off is not great.
Yeah, I mean, I got to 20 laps on the hards, and then I did Beps, and I did 16 laps on mediums, and I'm nowhere near the best. I'm a tyre killer. I mean, they shudder every time they see me. But I managed to do it just on the one stop. But last Glade I did pick up some damage, and I had to go into the pits to get a new nose I don't know if he got hit or he got the last corner wrong and he hit the wall. But he's in now to have a new wing.
Yep, so that's not been an ideal start for Gliders so far, after what was looking quite a promising race for him. Crocky saying, do not put the curse of the commentator on Stubby. I think it's far too late for that already. I wish I could go back in time, but we're looking into time travel at RPM, but we haven't quite got it figured out. We've got our best man Smith on it. And I think he'll be
funded by Luke.
Funded by Luke's bottomless supply of money. Luke and money is like a bottomless brunch. Smith will be wishing he had a time machine right now, because I'd be betting he wish he didn't pit. I was just trying to tie it in. I'm not even sure if that's a thing.
oh, he's gone. Oh, there's been... Yeah, Husk has lost it. And yeah, he's going to have to go in for a wing.
Missing the left front end plate there. So I found this in previous games. I haven't raced this particular track on this version. Obviously not being around last night. I thought, oh God, look at this battle for 9th position. There's 4 cars fighting for 8th position, fighting for the same piece of track. I'm surprised they haven't run into the back of each other here. And this might have been the battle that Huss was in previously. And this is so close. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something before. I'm not even going to bother trying to remember it, because this is enthralling stuff what we're watching here. And Kieran's just bided his time watching it all on those hard tyres in a very good position. And so is Smith, fair play. But we've got to be really careful they don't fall over here. And Lau just parking his car in the right position at the moment. Smith gets a bit wobbly on the exit, and Ricker's still trying to have a look, and Ricker might be close enough to go for it into the chicane. He does. He dives up the inside. Smith just nearly taps his back wheel there, gets close on the exit again. It has to yield the position, and that extra grip on the on the medium tyres really benefiting him. And I'm just watching on board with Kieran. He's got the best view in the house for this one. As you see...
he squeezed him a bit tight. He was coming into the pits. I don't think Ricker was expecting that.
No, and so Lau's in the pits. And yeah, Ricker's missed out on that. And just notice that Bakker, since he switched those mediums, he's absolutely flying up the road. He got fastest lap just last lap. He's now onto the battle for... This must be 4th. I think that's the Williams up ahead, as Lost Glader steals that fastest lap back. But Bakker... Oh, be patient, Mr. Bakker. He's right on the back of it, and looking very racy indeed. It's just whether he has the patience. He gets a pretty good exit there, but he is in a DRS train at the moment. And just stick with it and wait for your time. And actually, Giraffe is catching, it looks like, Bronco and Entity, while Stubby is completely checking out on those hard tyres. Crocky saying,
"Oh, brilliant round here."
Yeah, Bakker getting the move done now on the Alfa Romeo. I love seeing an Aston Martin take over an Alfa Romeo for position. It's one of the best things you can see in life. Don't you just agree with that, Mr. Inorganic?
Well, usually I'm picking an Aston Martin out of my Alfa Romeo. Don't know about passing it.
Yeah, it's usually me going, oh sorry. Crocky in chat said, I'll try to send Stubby support money to the researchers for a time machine. Yeah, well, I mean, I think Luke's got the money covered. He's usually on commentary, so you're not hearing him tonight. The beautiful tones of Luke, but he is the richest man in RPM. Jason's saying mediums were awful on about 12 laps for me, which is, I think you were saying you did 16, but I'm guessing they were absolutely cooked by then.
Yeah, I got 16 out of... Yeah, and we did have a safety car. When we had the safety car, it was just too early to go on to softs. But just watching, Bronco's just got past Entity on the DRS. It got quite easy, actually. That was from Bronco. I think Entity did have DRS, but
Yeah, Entity's certainly struggling in this phase of the race, and I wonder if his tyres are starting to feel the pressure. And I think they've been battling quite hard, which has probably took a bit of life out of it. And Giraffe now right on the back of this, and he's closely followed by Rodo, Backer, and NXX. And then Smith actually catching up onto this battle a little bit now. Or am I wrong there? Yeah, Smith's gapped Ricker and Kieran, who are still battling, and he's starting to catch up. He was about 5 seconds adrift a few laps ago, and I'd imagine he'll be catching them really quite quick because they are battling so hard, and it means Rodo's now dropped back from the Williams ahead.
Yeah, I think Smith now is kind of going to struggle because I think that Alpha and the McLaren have kind of been helping each other out, pulling each other along with the DRS, and I think Smith will probably find he's going to get dragged into that battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I just saw Backer make the overtake on Rodo, and then Rodo had a big moment behind him and dropped back behind NXX. But at the moment, Backer staying ahead of NXX even without the DRS, and he'll be trying to clear this and get up to the Williams. Backer has a bit of an advantage on these medium runners though now, because he's essentially on the same strategy but with 4-lap fresher tyres. And similar with Smith to Stubby, but Stubby is so far up the road at the moment. I'll just get up the gap to leader. He's 8.8 seconds behind the next person on technically the same strategy as him, which is Smith. And Kieran and Ricker at the moment just getting dropped by this, but in 9th and 10th they're still in good positions. Keep this race clean and it can come to them, because I still fancy there to be another safety car here, Mr. Inorganic. It's been such tight racing, and I think there's such ability to have a big crash here.
Yeah, there's it's quite a narrow track, and we've seen how close their battling can be. Just get it a bit wide, and yeah, it can cause spins. But luckily enough that the two Aston Martins are nowhere near each other, so that kind of that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just had another trade secret in chat here. Colin saying Backer could also pit for the mediums again and they'd get to the end, given that he's only done 10 laps on these, which is a great point. So Backer could actually be on a really good strategy here when the other guys are going to have to switch for another compound of tyres ahead of him. Obviously Stubby will cover that off with probably taking the mediums himself, but Entity, Giraffe and Bronco are going to have to move to the hards unless there is a safety car. And Kieran saying, is this Backer's home track? It certainly is, and he's having a good go at it, up into 5th, and he's now got out of the DRS range of NXX, and he's into the DRS range, crucially, of Giraffe and, well, the DRS train that's formed behind Bronco for 2nd place. So he is going very nicely at the moment. As you can also see, the gaps have started to open up down the field. But look at Smith now, he's only 1.6 seconds off Rodo, so he is pushing hard on those hard tyres and going very well indeed. And he's been catching the pack in front pretty quickly. We'll see how that strategy plays out.
Yeah, once the gaps open up around here, kind of hope for a kind of safety car to bunch it all up again. Because yeah, don't want it too stretched out. Everyone in a DRS train.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, it's now been a bit of a breakaway by the top 5 or so. Obviously Stubby's a bit further ahead, but as we've seen already, if you start battling at this track, the amount of time you can lose per lap is pretty hefty, so it could all change around if the battles get closer again.
I'm kind of surprised as well. I mean, Bronco now is on 16 lap old mediums. I mean, them mediums have got to be hanging on for dear life. Medium softs? No, that couldn't. No, it's just a long way to. I mean, yeah, I got 10 laps out of mine, but 16 does seem to be. Yeah, it seems to become quite quick as well.
Yeah, and we've seen Giraffe actually be the first of the front runners to pit. Unfortunately for him, he'll be having a go at his engineers because he's come out right behind Leaky's. That's going to slow down his progress on this outlap as he gets those hard tyres up to temperature. Entity still very, very close behind on Bronco here, and the gap is starting to just remain around the 2.5 second mark. So surprisingly, when you'd think these tyres have been dropping off, it's actually not been extended, that lead out front anymore. But maybe Stubby, if we go on board, he's not managing ERS, as Bronco is the next to pit. Yeah, so Entity's stretching out this, but I imagine he's going to pit within the next lap or hope that a safety car can change that strategy for him. But even so, he'll have to go to hards then.
Yeah, Smith now up to fourth. He's just been going about his business, but he has got Rodo the back of him. Smith will obviously have to come in and go on to mediums. But like we said at the start, Smith's just gone about, stayed out of trouble, just gone round and yeah, worked his way up to fourth.
Yeah, doing what he absolutely does best. We've got Crofty saying he hopes Bakker can get on the podium as well, because that'll be 2 Dutchmen on the podium here at Netherlands, or Zandvoort to be more precise. You can see a few orange shirts there in the crowd, and they'll be going wild if that can happen. And also, Spritzy saying, can we have a red flag now, please? Bakker's on the podium, so he's potentially after. You know, oh, and Stubby picks up a 3-second time penalty, and he's pitted. So I don't know. So he's not got the hards as far as Entity is taking the mediums here, and Bakker now also right on the back of Entity. Bakker's now in kind of pole position for this one with the fact that he's got the fresher medium tyres. So I don't know what Stubby got the penalty for. Maybe crossing over the white line. Couldn't have been speeding in a pit lane because that's a 5-second time penalty. But yeah, after many failed bets for Spritzy, it's looking quite good on Bakker at the moment. All that shade we put on Bakker at the start, if anyone was listening to that, that wasn't what we thought. We were just trying to incite a reaction in him to bring out the best in him, and it is working. We'll try and claim that one. We'll try we'll try our psychology. Yeah, exactly.
He'll be hoping that we don't start singing his praises, because if we do, then he'll probably crash out.
Yeah, and he just did have a moment, just as we said that, behind Entity there, and I hope Bakker's not listening too much to the reverse psychology thing, because I'm scared that he'll misunderstand and start actually reversing. But at the moment, still chasing Entity down. I don't know what. Let's see if I can see their last lap times, not only fastest lap times. I'm not quite sure what lap times they're on at the moment comparative to the field, and I don't know if you have the telemetry for that at the moment. Stubby back out of the pits, and he's making up positions as Kieran is the next man to go into the pits, and he's going to put a set of medium tyres on. So people on the hard tyres haven't actually run it that much longer than anyone on mediums. An Entity, I think he's trying to run this long to get on softs.
That's going to be a big ask of the. I was just trying to see if I could get the tyres up, but I can't get the tyres up. So
it's either that, or he's expecting or hoping for a safety car pretty shortly.
Yeah, I can't get the tyres up, but they've got to be hurting. I mean, I got my hards to 20, and they were shot. So yeah, how long can you push softs though round here?
Well, exactly. Entity must be an absolute masseuse with these tyres, and he's staying out again. Well, he's done 20 laps now on those mediums, Bakker behind on 16 laps. We were seeing people pit around 17, 18. Well, certainly for the hards, I think mediums was anywhere from 16 to 18. And Bakker really close behind him now. He just needs to be patient at the moment because he's got the tyre advantage. And also we've seen Smith here. How long will he take those hards? He's now got to be thinking, I've got to take these to the softs, because that's the way his strategy needs to play out at the moment. Otherwise he could find himself back in the midfield pretty easily. I'm going to go back to Giraffe and Bronco. Bronco is actually now close behind Stubby. And the hard tyre is actually seeming to be a really good racing tyre here again, because Stubby's not actually got out much further ahead. But the issue is they're going to encounter traffic at some point pretty shortly. Well, it's in the shape of Ricker at the moment. But you'd imagine Ricker and Rodo might get out of the way pretty soon to pit. And the curse of the commentator did come in terms of the 3-second penalty, I guess. I think it was Crocky who was mentioning that earlier.
Yeah, I don't know how he got the time penalty, whether it was crossing or, but he is looking at Riker. Oh, he got that wrong. He looked at Riker, but kind of got it wrong, and he's got Bronco now.
Yeah, and I think Ricker or Riker, he had a little bit of a moment on the exit, and I think it meant Stubby had to back off, so I think he was letting him back through after as a bit of a sporting gesture, which is nice to see. Bronco now all over the back of him. Giraffe actually not quite keeping up with these guys at the moment. We go back to the battle at the front. Bakker still within 2 tenths of Entity here. Can he make this move work? DRS zone here is a little bit short, and there is a yellow flag, and it's Huss. He's in the wall at turn 3.
Safety car.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now we go Bakker and Entity. That has worked perfectly for. They've got a 7-second gap to Smith, who's got a 6-second gap behind him. I think we're going to see all top 3 pit. We'll see Ricker pit, Glader and Lau, I would imagine almost certainly. And I think we're going to see some risk on some soft tyres. I'd love to see a bit of rain right now. I want to see someone take the intermediates. The Jones gamble isn't going to work today, I don't think.
I think 14 laps softs, that's pushing it, that is. I think they're going to be proper tied at the end.
Well, I can tell you,
going for softs.
Bakker and Entity onto the soft tyres, and will Smith be following suit? Smith probably takes the safer option, and that's why he's leading the championship, I'd have to say. He consistently takes, I'd say, the path that would lead to the least issues or things going wrong. He always plays the percentages, is probably the best way to put it, and he's taken the mediums and he's come out in 5th. So Smith, from being kind of nowhere at one point in the race, is now in a really good position. But it does also open it up for the guys that were looking seriously quick earlier, like Glader, who's been a bit out of the race. But it has not worked out for Giraffe, who's now sitting down in 8th, who'd been on the back of the battle for 2nd all race. It's really hurt him.
I think the soft runners now will really have to push, because come the end of the race, them tyres are going to be holding on for dear life. I think, 13 laps, couple of laps behind safety car. I think them mediums, I think mediums was a good shout. I think I would have gone mediums.
Yeah, and I think Smith's probably got that one bang on. But a lot of people opting for soft, so potentially the soft runner's not going to miss out totally, because there's people matching that strategy. But Kieran, NXX and Glader, this could bring them back into it if they've made the right call. Lau taking possibly the more risky call at the moment, but you'd say down in 12th, it's a risk worth taking, and same with Leakey. But obviously Stubby and Bronco, to get track position, they had to stay out. So Bronco is really looking different on the hard tyres, 6-lap old, and Stubby on 5-lap old mediums. Well, by the end of this race, they're going to be 17 laps through, which is when we were starting to see that tyre drop off from them, was probably around lap 15.
Yeah, and he's going to build up a 3-second gap over everyone else, which against a lap older hards and everyone on the softs. I don't know if you're about to build up that gap.
Backer is also in chat saying, never been here before, what is this pace?
This championship, this is the first division pace. This is us.
I just had I had a heart in mouth moment. It was a lag on my screen. If you're watching that back, you'll catch a very unusual reaction. I had a bit of lag on my screen and Stubby was in the wall. I thought he'd done George Russell. He's not in the wall. It's just complete game glitch.
No, he's okay.
I thought I have really cursed him now. I was feeling really guilty for a second. Safety car is in this lap. Just to reiterate, Stubby is not in the wall. He's leading this race. He's going to have to use Bronco to his advantage here, isn't he? To try and build up that 3-second gap. Bronco on the hard tyres. Bronco, unfortunately, I think might have just got caught out by the safety car. He has been quick, but be interested to see if he can hang on to the back. But where will Stubby go here? He left it very, very late last time and nearly left himself massively exposed to Entity at the turn 1.
Yeah, it's a long straight, isn't it? I think probably he's going to go any second now, I'd say. You don't want to go too early. You don't particularly want to go too late. There we go. He's gone.
Then again, not quite
Bronco,
catching the guys sleeping behind, but Bronco not going to be close enough to try and move. As it did look like Stubby went a little bit wide, but good traction out of the corner. But Entity and Backer all over the back of this. And they just need to keep it clean for now on the soft tyres, because if they can just avoid any incidents, it should play into their hands. But then they've just got to hope the tyre drop off isn't too bad, as we've got Giraffe off and he's spun. So his night is ending in an absolute nightmare at the moment, after I think it was a 1-2 for Williams, wasn't it, last week, with Giraffe winning the race. So
it was, yeah.
A
Not having the best this week.
Yeah, a complete change of fortunes for Giraffe. And yeah, you could see Stubby really pushing this lap to try and build that gap, but everyone else is using ERS to try and close back in. Backer looks to the inside on Entity. Now he's on the outside and he's going to leave himself slightly exposed to Rodo behind, but he gets away with it. But they don't want to battle too much, these two, the Williams and the Aston Martin. They want to be working together to try and get those guys at the front. Backer almost in the gearbox of Entity there, using his overtake, but so is Entity. Will Backer send it up the inside? He's having a look, he's gone for it. And he just squeezed enough, but Entity keeping his front wing in there. Backer will now have the inside line. Will he give enough space? And Entity round the outside gives him the inside here. Side by side through the first sector of the lap. And they're still side by side going into the second sector. Backer on the inside, but he's going to lose out here. He might have to get out of this one. Will he? He's staying in. He's given Entity a little nudge and Backer is through. And it does look like he's got the pace at the moment. Entity looks like he didn't get any damage from that. I imagine we'll see this battle resuming pretty soon, but these guys need to stop battling. They need to get on and catch the front two. Bronco will be loving seeing that in his rearview mirrors, although he hasn't got a massive gap to these guys. It just let him get a little bit further into this race before getting under the probably what is going to be a massive amount of pressure from the guys on the faster tyres behind. Stubby now over a second in front, and DRS will be getting enabled, I think, as we cross the line for the next lap. And we see it there, DRS enabled. So Backer will be looking to close right up onto this Ferrari, and he'll be hoping to get in within this lap, I'd imagine.
I don't want to be pushing too hard on them softs, battling like that, because that's going to kill the tyres. And towards the end of the race, they could be a bit of a sitting duck. Oh, it was Rodo. Rodo's lost it.
Yeah.
Safety car, big damage. Oh, that's going to throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, and that's exactly the same place where Giraffe lost it. But for the safety car, for the soft tyre runners who are already on the soft, that's perfect for them, because they get a couple, maybe 2-3 laps here without putting any damage into those tyres. And Bronco and Stubby now really have to think. They really, if they want to stay first and second, they have to stay out. But they're going to be exposed to guys behind who aren't going to see that drop off as badly now.
I'm just putting myself in Stubby's shoes, not literally, because he probably would have crashed out by now, but I think he's going to have to go in.
I mean, if I was there, if I was Bronco on the hard tyres, I'd be definitely thinking I need to go in here. Because it's just gonna be such a struggle against those pace. I think the thing that's going to play in here is that tyre wear is not going to be as much of an issue as we were thinking now. But that's exactly why we think they should have gone in Giraffe speeding in the pit lane. When it rains, it pours.
Not been his race at all.
No, what a difference a week makes for the Williams driver. But at the moment, Rodo and Giraffe will be in points. Sorry.
So I was just going to say, I'm surprised Kieran and Lost Glader haven't gone in for softs. And possibly, Smith, 5 lap old mediums. But
I'm a little bit surprised by that too, unless they think the tyre wear is going to be that large. But then they'd be just doing 8 laps on the softs, or less than 8 laps.
Yeah, they'd be able to push it a lot harder. Yeah, they wouldn't have lost that much time neither, beyond the safety car. And seeming that, like, Rodo, Giraffe, NXX, they're all on fresh softs. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Kieran and Lost Glader. I think they've kind of missed a trick there. I think they could have done with, going in on the softs.
And it does just show you that when there's a safety car, how tough it is to get the strategy right. Because it just opens up so many different avenues, and a lot of the time, a lot of people say, oh, you got a minute and 10 seconds or whatever to think about it. You don't, because you might just be coming around the final corner, so you've sometimes got to make a split-second decision on what strategy you're going to carry, and at this point, for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and like trying to guess what the cars are going to do around you as well. You know, trying to guess what their tyre strategy is, how worn their tyres are. So it's Lost Glader just had a right moment then. Almost ended up in the wall.
Yeah, and I've just seen behind Kieran, and it was Leaky letting him back past. Guessing really trying to get some heat into those tyres. Giraffe does a sensible thing. I mean, as I was saying earlier, NXX is reserving, so essentially anyone below him will be promoted up 1 position. So Rodo and Giraffe will get into the points with points going down to 12 positions this season. Giraffe doing a sensible thing in case something happens in front or he has lightning fast pace. He's gone and served his penalty during the safety car, so he won't have that to worry about. And if he can make up some positions, he could do very well. But for Stubby, it must be horrible. He built up a bit of a gap again, but now that 3-second time penalty is straight back into play as we see safety car in this lap.
Yeah, he's his tyres now, he's got another 7 laps on them mediums. He's got Backer and Entity on. I wish I could have a look at the tyre percentage, but they've had a couple of laps under the safety car, so them softs are still going to be pretty okay. So I think Stubby and Bronco, I think are going to possibly struggle now.
I tell you what, it is absolutely anyone's game at the moment, though. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. And there goes Stubby. Unfortunately, it's become more and more predictable each time for the other drivers.
Yeah, he's done it at the same place every time.
We've got a Sector 1 incident, that's the...
Oh, there's a big one. It's the Ferrari. NXX is out.
Yeah, I've seen, and it doesn't look like a safety car at the moment, but
Yeah,
it's
it is.
a safety car again.
Safety car again.
So we're just going to be 2 laps further down the road. Well, I hope everyone in chat. I hope you really enjoyed that 10 seconds of racing, because you've got another 2 minutes of listening to me in organic talking a load of rubbish and theorising who's going to pit, who's not going to pit. Nobody pits, so we're just basically talking for no reason.
I think Kieran's got a pit. I think Osclader's got a pit to go onto them softs now, because they. Or then again, you'd lose track position. Would you be able to gain that much on the soft tyres in that amount of time?
I think Stubby and Bronco have gone so deep with it now at the front, that, and obviously everyone's right on them, they just have to stay out. Backer saying, what the hell is this? Well, Backer, don't think about what's going on, think about what could happen, and keep your head screwed on. Spritzy saying, what is this? Oh dear. Oh, don't lie, Spritzy, you've been hoping for another safety car so you could just hear me in an organic chewing gums a little bit more.
Lost Glader. Yeah, Lost Glader's gone into the pits. That's a good call. He's got nothing to lose there. He's in the points. Put some pressure on them. The ones in front. And Leakey's done the same.
Yeah, and it worked out well for Giraffe. He's got some easy positions. And him and Rhoda are on the freshest of people on softs other than Glader and Leakey. Kieran might have some issues with the guys behind on the 11-lap-old mediums. I'm surprised again that maybe Kieran... I can see why Smith hasn't pitted in 5th, but I'm surprised Kieran didn't pit on the softs. But you never know, if he keeps it clean, because these guys are going to be racing hard on the softs in front. If he keeps it clean, he could end up getting multiple positions if there's any incidents.
Yeah, if his mediums are okay, I suppose it depends on how much they've taken out on them and them softs ahead, because there's still like 5 laps left. So the safety cars though might have just saved the soft runners, because they won't be taking as much out of the tyres. So I mean, I think it's kind of worked out well for Backer. I think because he'll have the pace over Bronco and Stubby, because Stubby now has only got like 4 laps to try and extend that gap.
I'm going to let you in on what is my only trade secret, is that I have a chat with Entity and Backer, and I can see them negotiating at the moment in this Discord chat. 95, why this safety car, NXX crashed on the last safety car restarts. We were racing for 5 seconds and another safety car. I think really they just want to advertise this beautiful Aston Martin. But what I was saying, my own secret, Entity's trying to negotiate with Backer, say, come on man, we can go and get a 1-2 here, we can win this race if we don't battle so hard like we saw them doing laps ago. Backer, it's fair to say in his reply, has not seen the big picture, just said, my home race, I want to win. Brilliant stuff. So there's not going to be any teamwork going on there. I still think it's in Backer's best interest to work with Entity as the front 2 soft runners to try and get after Bronco and Stubby here, because it is hard to pass. And they're not... Well, they might only have a couple of laps of DRS if the safety car goes in this lap. It's fair to say Backer's seeing a very small picture at the moment.
Yeah, I mean Backer could have sold him a dummy and used it kind of to his advantage, but he's probably too nice a guy to do that.
I could put a cat amongst the pigeons here and just change my name on Discord to RPM Backer and say, yes, let's work together. And as you can see, the concertina effect here, all the cars now very close together. I think we all know where Stubby's going to go, unless He's known there's going to be another safety car, and he's got something up his sleeve.
Let's see if he goes.
Yeah, I'm going to go on board with Backer just to see if he can get a run on either of these cars. And he goes earlier. He has, and he's caught. Well, he caught them out a little bit. He's going to be safe certainly into the first sector. As you can see, Smith actually under pressure from Ricker behind, and Lau right behind that as well, and Kieran behind that. But Kieran and Rodo side by side. Kieran goes round the outside, giving him the inside to the banked hairpin. But Rodo just with such good traction on those soft tyres, and it's exactly what I was saying, the advantage on those tyres. I'm going to swing back up to the front now, where we got Backer right in behind Bronco, and Bronco's going to be feeling the pressure now on those hard tyres.
Yeah, it's under safety car as well. It's so hard to get any. Oh, he has a bit of a moment then to get any heat into them hards under the safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget, Stubby has that 3-second time penalty, so he's got to absolutely push those tyres. Because if Backer gets Bronco here and sits within a 3-second gap of him, he will take the win. And to be fair, Stubby, as I see Kieran's lost another place to Glader, Stubby might end up losing multiple places because he's got Entity behind. Here comes Backer going up the inside into turn 1.
Be careful.
He's going to have the grip though, and he's through. And you'd have to say right now this is looking like Backer's race. Entity will be the next to go. Maybe Backer was seeing the bigger picture. Maybe he didn't want to work with the man from Brighton. But here's Entity, and I tell you what, Smith is keeping up well with this, and he's just, I think Smith's doing his tactics again, perfectly executing a safe race up in 5th, and if anything happens, he's perfectly placed to capitalise on it.
Yeah, and he's already building up a bit of a gap as well on Riker, so Riker's now fallen out of the DRS zone, so that will just give Smith a bit of breathing space. He won't have to worry about any cars like trying to overtake him, so he can just do what he does best, keep it clean and watch the cars in front. And them mediums, you know, I think are going to really start coming into their own, because they've obviously a few laps under safety car. That's them mediums are going to be pretty fresh. And I think you could see him maybe push on the last lap.
Yeah, as Entity sends it round the outside of Bronco. Bronco still sticking his nose in there. Entity just had the traction, just enough to get round. And Spritzy rightfully saying in chat, cough, my first prediction. Yeah, well, Bagger's looking incredible. But you did say Bagger to win, I think. Everyone was saying he's going to retire, and look at it now. Bagger at his own Grand Prix. But he's got Entity now, who's going to be putting the pressure on. Smith's looking pretty safe for 5th place at the moment, with Ricker dropping behind a little bit and Lau behind him, but you can see there's a bit of a train of cars in, and to be honest, towards 6th place we could see that change a lot. I'm going to keep up with what's going on at the front. And Backer, will he be patient and realise that Stubby's got a 3-second time penalty, or will he try and do it on track, as Lost Glader now picks up a 3-second penalty, which could be very, very costly in that midfield battle. And he's switching positions with Leaky. And Leaky now ahead. Oh no, they've switched positions again. And oh no, Backer, he's got the DRS. And look at that speed. And Lost Glader and Leaky have crashed. We saw them switching positions, but Backer takes the lead. There won't be a safety car, but it's a yellow flag through sector 3, which is now cleared up incredibly quick. Dutch marshals here. And Backer at his home race has taken the lead. He doesn't want to take any risks with that penalty of Stubby's and wants to run it outright. But Stubby still sat right in behind. He's going to chase him all the way down, because I'm not sure what happened with that 3-second time penalty. I'm sure we might see that pop up in a ticket. But Backer has got him covered, as you might think, on the soft tyres at the moment, barring any mistakes. And I've got to say, it's a very good race to see for an Aston Martin, but at this point Stubby's going to lose out, and possibly to Smith as well. An Entity might get another 2nd place 2 weeks running. Stubby still right there behind Backer, but it's not going to be enough. If Backer keeps it all clean round this final corner, he will take his first win of the season. A first win for an Aston Martin, I believe. And at his home Grand Prix, no less. Stubby unlucky once again, but takes a great second place on track, but that will go to Bronco. Bronco must have got Entity right at the end that I missed there. Bronco must have sent it on Entity. Bronco takes second on hard tyres. Entity in third. I think we've got Smith fourth. And Backer drive of the day, and it's well deserved. And fifth must be Stubby, who once again, on a race where you think he's got the win sewn up, runs out of luck totally. And Backer falling over on the podium there. That's more what we're used to seeing from Mr. Backer. Giraffe managed to get the fastest lap and move himself back up to 8th after what was a nightmare race for him. And yeah, you can see Stubby there dropping down to 5th, Lau in 6th, Rodo 7th, Giraffe 8th, Ricker 9th, Kieran at 10th, unfortunately getting caught out on those medium tyres, and the rest DNFing a late incident between Leakey and Glader, taking him out of the race. And to be honest, it was a nightmare for Glader tonight, who looked like he had the pace.
Yeah, I was just looking in chat. Nice one from Backer. This one's for Schnitzy. Yeah, I think we all dedicate our driving this week to Schnitzy. And yeah, I just want to say your impression of a Brummie accent is fantastic, because when Backer watches this back, he's going to hear a Brummie saying that Backer's going to crash out on lap 4. But that actually wasn't me. That was Mr. Jones' Brummie accent. I was actually saying Backer for the win.
It is true. I said I was on holiday, but I was actually at an impressionist camp all week. Glad to see it's paying off. Got Crocky saying congrats to the Dutchman, what a race, and Booty saying congrats Backer, great strat, and Huss also saying great win buddy, well done. Yeah, Huss unlucky tonight as well, and that was a great win. I'll wait to see if we have anyone joining us in chat out of Bronco, Backer and Entity on the podium there, because if we do, we'll give them a little interview. I'd be very surprised if we don't get Entity joining, because he seems to want to join even if he's not on the podium.
Now he's figured out how to work his microphone.
I'd say there's still some doubts around that. We'll give them a minute or so to see if they join, but if not, we'll be a shame not to have Backer on a podium interview. We may never see him up there again. I had to get one more dig in. I can't quite believe it. What a win from Backer. It doesn't look like we've got anyone joining at the moment. I don't know if you've got any way of summarising what we just seen there, because there was lots of stop and started. There was lots of close racing. I'm not sure I can even remember what happened in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, safety cars. I mean, the 10 seconds we had of racing before the safety car was back out again. Yeah, it just adds to it. I think the race at one point was getting quite stretched, and the safety car definitely helped punch everyone up. And I just want to say that your Brummie impression is absolutely fantastic, and I love Mr. Backer, and I always said that he was going to win at the start. Saying that, hello Mr. Backer, how are you getting on?
Well, hello. Hello. I'm a bit warm.
What's more worn, you or your soft tyres right now?
No, the soft tires were all right. We had 3 safety cars the last 8 laps.
How does it feel to win it, and your home Grand Prix, no less?
Well, it feels great. I forgot how it felt to actually win a race for once. And then I had a real poor qualifying. So I didn't expect anything from this race.
Well, it was super impressive. I feel like Inorganic was on the verge of a question as well. I'll get out the way again.
I was just going to say, do you think that contact that you had at the start with your teammate on lap 4 actually really helped you?
Nah, it was not the contact at all. I was like 6 tenths behind them. I believe it was him and Huss, and there was like a bit of a slippery battle going on there. And they both went really wide, so I went really tight into turn 1, slightly hit the curb, and that made me spin and clip the wall. And that's where I lost my front wing. I didn't really touch anyone.
Because it would look like from what I was watching, it looked like it'd come down from the corner and touched you. But, I mean, it brought the safety car out, but
Yeah, it
helped you so much because it made you go into the pits, you got fresh tyres on.
Yeah, and I wasn't miles behind, which helped a lot as well. I could just catch the pack again and then start going. Did some adjustments in the pit lane as well because I've noticed I was lacking a lot of straight line speed, so I went with a little bit lower front wing while I needed to replace my wing anyway.
Yeah, I think that definitely helped you, that did, didn't it?
And I also noticed there was a bit of bartering in a Discord chat, Mr. Backer. Something about a big picture, and I don't think you were seeing the big picture in the same way. Have you got anything to elaborate to the chat on that?
Well, I think the big picture involved the guy that just joined. And, well, I had a bit different picture in mind than he did, probably. I think he wanted to take the win here. And, well, I mean, I like him, but not on this track. That's why I didn't really fancy waiting for him to pass P2 either. I just thought I licked the step, they said it. But he made it really hard. It was a nice battle. I loved it.
I've had a question coming from a certain McLaren driver who just wanted to say, how good was his defending early in the race? Because the rest of the race, we just saw him in last place.
I can't really remember the beginning of the race too much.
If you don't mind, I will happily jump in and help answer that question. Being in a party with Giraffe, Giraffe actually gave a lot of plaudits to Kieran's racing and his racecraft towards the latter stages of the race. Said he really thoroughly enjoyed racing with him.
I will pass that on to him. I'm sure his head will get even bigger than what it already is.
No entity.
Same as Accelerator hasn't.
Oh, for God's sake. No entity. Missed out another pole position. Do you want to explain to everyone what you put in chat? I didn't read it out. You dropped it by yourself on a curb going for pole?
Yeah, so coming into the final corner, I was letting a few cars through, including Kieran. And to do so, I went to the right-hand side of the circuit, on the curb, just as Kieran went, I went, right, let's put the foot down. And obviously, well on the grass, full throttle, and spun and clipped the front wing in the barrier. But I was on a scrub set of softs anyway, and credit to, I believe it was Stubb that ended up getting the very good lap.
Yeah, and once again in Championship division, you got a feel for Stubb. Picking up a 3-second penalty, which
there is already a thing saying
that
it might not be. It might be one that goes to the stewards room, as apparently it was all collected in one. A bit of an odd one.
Yeah, we kind of thought that, didn't we? In Organic, because it was as he was in the pits, and it wasn't obviously a speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, I was going to say, because this track's not pretty much known for its track limits. So we were quite shocked that he got the time penalty.
It's a difficult track for the upsexy. You've got to be really careful about
that. I'm glad I didn't wait. I was thinking of just waiting behind him. He had 3 seconds.
Well, that's what I was saying, like whether you'd try and pass. The other thing I was going to say to Entity, what happens with... We saw that you were in what was effectively second place, and then you got overtaken by the Ferrari of Bronco. What happened there? We missed it on stream because we were watching Becker's long-awaited win.
Well, it was very much as the whole race was, as that Bronco just very, very quick in a straight line. Pretty quick throughout the whole circuit, but especially in a straight line. And I used the ERS to get past him. Thought I had enough in the tank, but he just got a perfect exit out the final bend. I tried to make it difficult, and he still squeezed on the insides, and I got a nose ahead. So fair play to Bronco. I think, to be honest, over the balance of the whole race, I think he deserved the position ahead of me anyway.
Yeah, it's certainly true. Bronco had an absolute great race tonight. But
Yeah, he was quick, even on those hards.
Yeah,
that man Backer, however, well. Very defensive on safety car restarts. Is Mr. Backer. He proper swerves in front of your already moving car when you've gone across the line. So maybe one for the stewards room, maybe not. We'll
I
see how
still
the evening
deserve to win
goes.
because this is where I'm also leaving the podium interview. I made a promise before. I didn't think I could actually make this promise through because I qualified P12. But this win was for Snitsy. This was my race for Snitsy.
Yeah, and absolutely. Once again, all our thoughts with Schnitzy's friends and family. I was just going to say, Entity, another point for you, getting a lot of podiums this season, moving yourself, I reckon that would be you up to second in the championship. Any line on your teammate Giraffe, though, who seemed to was up there all race in a battle for second, and then got caught out with some safety cars, a few issues. Any line on what happened there?
Yes, unfortunately, one of the reserve drivers, I don't exactly know who it was, but I think I did send a message earlier on. But yes, so there was a reserve driver that I believe had an incident with Giraffe and took him out. He got unlucky with the safety car incident, which obviously Becker and myself benefited off massively. But yeah, it was a reserve driver. Unfortunately, got quite an incident with him. He'd still take the points in the fastest lap, I believe he got as well. He didn't have many expectations going into this race with his commitment issues that he's had in the past week and what have you. But he's got a good relationship with the car and obviously with myself to make sure that we're scoring points consistently and able to bring the Williams team higher in that constructors standings.
If you weren't a man who hates Brighton and plays F1 in his spare time, you'd may have a great career in politics, rhetoric. It really was. Some of his stuff you coming out with that. It's like you got your commentary voice on again.
Yeah, it's difficult. I find the balance, obviously, being able to keep that level heads, being able to then give an unbiased opinion of proceedings after they've happened, and obviously weighing that up with the up sexy on the track, as I was saying, and obviously then having Giraffe in the party too. It's quite difficult.
I just don't know what to say to you anymore. But thank you for joining us in the podium chat.
Do you have something you want to ask?
No, nothing anymore.
Is there anything in that you want me to elaborate on the wording of or anything there?
No. I'll just wait for your apology in the Discord. No, thanks for a great race. We loved watching your side by side battle. We thought it was getting a bit tense at times, but it was really good fun to watch. Congratulations on the win, Backer. Congratulations on what might be a short-lived podium entity. Thank you for joining me in Organic. Have you got anything to say to the lovely chat before we go for the evening?
No, just the usual. If you liked what you see, leave a like, share, tell your friends. And come and join us.
Yeah, and I believe we are back. Well, I don't have to believe we are back tomorrow night with Premier Division, and that will be you commentating. Am I right in Organic?
Yes, it'd be me by myself. Yes, so the lucky listeners out there, the lucky watchers, will get another dose of dulcet tones of a Brummie.
Yeah, absolutely. You've had your warm-up tonight, your vocal exercises. And obviously we'll be back again as well next week for more Championship Division if you're enjoying watching the close battles here next Wednesday. But be sure
No,
to
next
tune-
week's a week off.
Oh, there we go. In 2 weeks then. I have been away for a while. Don't tune in next week because we're not here. But be sure to tune in the week after. I haven't got a calendar handy, so I don't know the date. Is it the 15th today? 16th, 25th, 30th of August for more championship. But 17th of August, tomorrow night, you've got the beautiful brummy tones of Inorganic. We are RPM, and thank you for watching tonight, and we will see you tomorrow night.